What's going on? What's going on, party people? Back with another banging and fly reaction of J. Kyle's reactions. And back with another switch up. Excuse me. One of my subscribers slash co-worker, she asked me to do this one as well. So we're going to check out this reaction to the YSL case, or what's going on with Young Thug and the whole YSL crew, the Rico case. On the road to 400 subs, don't forget to hit that like, definitely share, and hit that subscribe button. Without any further ado, let's check it out.
You acknowledge that you've been accused of and arrested for robbing women.
Yes.
You acknowledge that you are the same person referred to as Tick in the song by Young Thug entitled You, in the verse She Getting Robbed by Tick.
Yes.
Wow.
The trial of rapper Young.
Look, I didn't know he even. First of all, I didn't know he went by Tick. I didn't know he had a song called Tick. I'm not the biggest fan of Young Thug. When he first came out on the scene, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really too much care for his music. But what made me got into his music, that last album he dropped, which was called Punk, that made me actually check his music out some more. And then he had dropped some YSL albums, which was pretty silent. So I started getting into his music. But when he first came out, I didn't really too much care for his music. But we're gonna check this out, man.
It's about to begin. Law and Crime Network executive producer Kathy Russin comes on to do a deep dive on all that we know and what has happened in this major case. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Webb. All right, let's talk about the trial of Grammy Award-winning rapper Young Thug, which at the time of this recording is about to start jury selection. This is down in Atlanta, Georgia. The rapper, whose real name is Jeffrey Lamar Williams, is facing 8 criminal counts, including conspiracy to violate the state's RICO or racketeering law. Essentially, he and what was originally 28 other defendants, although that number has been whittled down to, I believe, 14 now. I'll explain why in a minute. They were all charged in this large, sweeping indictment. The claim is that Williams co-founded a street gang called YSL, or Young Slime Life, back in 2012 that absolutely wreaked havoc on the city. Now, we have people charged with everything from attempted armed robbery to murder. There is a lot to unpack. There is a lot to understand, and there's a lot to break down in terms of what this case is, what has already happened. So to help me, I want to bring in a very special guest, somebody who has been following this case very closely, someone who the Twitter community has now dubbed Young Russ, Law and Crime Network's executive producer, Kathy Russin. Kathy, great to have you here. I'm not going to call you Young Russ, even though I do like that name for you.
I mean, who would have ever thought this is where I would land?
How far you've come. How far you've come. So I think it's good to start with giving, I gave a brief synopsis of what this case is about, but can you tell us, basically, generally speaking, what is the allegation against these defendants, and specifically Young Thug?
For Young Thug himself, not only participation in a criminal street gang, but being a leader slash founder slash in the management part of the street gang to further crimes as in murder, a sweeping indictment basically to get all of these members of YSL, or at least 28 of them, charged with various crimes, and Jeffrey Williams is kind of the lead and the head of that. And so his charges really have to do with furthering the criminal activity, like promoting it, that kind of thing.
Are you tired of all the ads on the sides of websites?
I really hope, like I said, I really hope that I really hope, man, that if he can beat this case, to change that mindset, change that lifestyle, man. You know, you a big time rapper, you have a bunch of fans. Name of the game is to get out of the hood, not still stay in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Get your family out the hood, man. If anything, teach those guys that you know what I'm saying, that's in your crew, teach them ways of how to get legal money. teach them ways of how to, you know what I'm saying, get the rest of them. 'Cause I know a couple of them that rap, um, but that's a lot of guys in that crew. I didn't even know it was a lot of them like that. That's crazy. But I really hope he can beat this case, man. I really hope they can because you got a lot of fans out here, man. A lot of fans, a lot of people like your music. So I really hope he can. And like I said, I really hope that they wasn't just robbing women.
Right.
If they was, that's some sucker stuff. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But we'll see. Let's check the rest of this case out.
Exactly what I'm talking about. I can't tell you how many times I get targeted for hair product ads. What are they trying to say? That my hair isn't perfect? Is that what they were going at right now? Well, these ads, they target things that we like because our IP addresses are public. Any website you visit knows your IP address and where you're coming from. But if you get a VPN, specifically NordVPN, you can mask your IP address. No more annoying ads. No more annoying hair product ads. I can get my confidence back. You can now shield your data from snoopers and cyber attacks. So what you do is you get NordVPN at nordvpn.com/lawandcrime, and you'll receive NordVPN's 2-year plan plus 4 months free. Again, that's at nordvpn.com/lawandcrime. Something else, it is risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. What is the main defense been? Because I've seen it's been, that this is not a street gang at all?
So he claims this is not a gang, that he's a musician, is an artist, and Young Slime Life is not Young Slime Life, and that he has a record deal, and he's not a member of a gang. The problem is, as we'll get into, he's got some of his closest people that have said that it's a gang, and that has started happening in plea deals.
Defendant and his fellow YSL associates committed the drive-by shooting referenced in sections 3 and 4 above on behalf of YSL and to increase the notoriety, reputation, and fear of YSL. Number 6, defendant admitted committing and was convicted of aggravated assault and participation in criminal street gang activity, among other charges, for his participation in the drive-by shooting referenced in sections 3, 4, and 5 above. Number 7, defendant was told by another YSL associate that immediately after the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., YSL associates met at the McDonald's on Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, to discuss the murder. Number 8, defendant personally knows that one or more YSL associates committed the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr. on behalf of YSL. Number 9, on January the 10th, 2015, after the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., defendant and other YSL associates gathered at the home of Jeffrey Williams, a.k.a. Young Thug, who gave defendant and other YSL associates cash money to lay low.
Kathy, who is this sledge individual? Sledge individual, and why is he so important?
Well, he's going to testify. Now, in some of these plea deals, some of the defendants have been given the right to invoke the Fifth, and some have not, which is very interesting. He does not have the right to invoke the Fifth on any statements he signed off on his plea deal. Well, those include that after drive-by shootings, they went to Jeffrey William, a.k.a. Young Thug's home, who gave them cash money to lay low. That's not a good fact for Jeffrey Williams. He's going to testify.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good look right there, man. Like, oh wow. Okay. I mean, like I said, I didn't know. I didn't know YSL was so deep like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking that they just a recording. You know what I'm saying? A label. I didn't know they was so deep like that. I didn't know it was like a big gang like that. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back into it.
2 drive-by shootings, 2 murders. After the murder of rival gang member Antonio,
Donovan Thomas?
Thank you so much. After the murder of rival gang member Donovan Thomas is when he says that they went to Young Thug's house. So he's very crucial to the prosecution's case of tying. Look, let's just be honest. They want Jeffrey Williams. The state wants Jeffrey Williams. That's where they're making deals with other people. They want the head. They want the lead, and they want him. And so here, Sledge is going to testify, and it's not going to be good facts for Jeffrey Williams.
Yeah, so he got 15 years probation. People might be looking at that and saying it's so lenient. I will be of the opinion that, like you said, they need several of these members to testify against the head of this organization, the alleged head, or it could also.
God dang it, 15 years of probation. That's a. That mean he can't leave the city of Atlanta, bro, for 15 years. That's crazy, bro. Like I said, man, the mentality is just to get up out the hood, change your lifestyle, bro. You this, like I keep saying, you this big time rapper, man. You ain't gotta do all this. Leave the street stuff alone. Keep it music. Feed your family. Keep it moving. I hope they can beat this case, like I keep saying.
That the case they have against some of these members might not be as strong as they need it to be. And if you charge 28 people, and the cases are weak against some and strong against others, the whole case could fall apart. We've seen that happen before. Now that's a possibility. Let's go to Antonio Sumlin. What do we know about him?
Yes.
Do you understand that you are not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you are not a United States citizen, a guilty conviction will affect your immigration status and will result in deportation, just like a conviction at a trial would, and that this is true regardless of any advice by your attorney or anyone else? Are you a U.S. citizen?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what do we know about Antonio Sumlin, Kathy?
So Antonio Sumlin, aka Obama, is his street name. He takes a plea. Also, is only just sentenced to probation. A lot of people are talking about these sweet deals these guys are walking out on. Could it be a sweet deal? Maybe. Can members of this alleged gang stay clean for 15 years and not violate probation? 15 years is a long time. So I see talk about that on social media sites that it could be prosecutors think that they're going to end up back behind bars at some point anyway. So Sumlin pleaded guilty to the RICO Act, which all of them are charged with, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit a crime and participation in a street gang, and he also will testify. Now, these ones that like I said, the ones that will testify. I have to just say this. The prosecutor words this very interesting when she reads out the plea deal. It's if you are called at any time. I will say that we don't have any guarantees that every single one of these people that took a plea will be called to testify.
Throw it on the bed.
And we do know that some probably won't because at least one has been given the right to invoke the fifth as far as I can tell on everything.
Right, so there's Quantavious Grier, who I believe is the brother of Young Thug. He pleaded guilty last week. He was sentenced to a mix of time served and probation. I think as part of his deal that if he's called to testify, he has to testify truthfully, but it is his right to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. So he can do that if he wants to. Not an option for some other defendants.
The difference in his wording is like what you just said. That for some of these others, they cannot. The wording was they cannot invoke the Fifth on any statements in this plea deal. So they have written out statements that they've initialed, so typed out statements, whatever, that the prosecutors have them initial. They have testified truthfully to those and are not allowed to invoke the Fifth.
And then we have...
So basically, they can't. They already have their signatures on the statement that they already given. Prosecutors already told, told them to initial their name on the statement that they given. So basically, they can't change the statements. They can't change what they already done said to the judge.
Have Trontavious Stevens.
You also acknowledge that on February 4th, 2021, you participated in a group chat with fellow YSL founder Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, and YSL associates Wooney Lee, aka Slime Like Shorty, wherein Jeffrey Williams stated YSL rule the world, kid. Y'all just start bringing me the money. Man, y'all stop playing with me. Do you acknowledge that?
Yeah.
Do you acknowledge that on May 13, 2021, you participated in another group chat with fellow YSL founder Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, and YSL associates Martinez Arnold, Miles Farley, Quantavious Greer, Antonio Sumlin, Mooney Lee, wherein Jeffrey Williams asks, y'all ain't beat him up or shot him yet? Then states, y'all getting soft.
Yes.
Are you shit? Come on, man. Oh my God! Wow. It's not looking too good for them, man. Right now. I mean, the way everything is looking right now, it's not looking too good. Like we, we got to change the mindset. That's my people. You know what I'm saying? My black people, bro. We got to change how we treat each other, how we doing things to each other, man. Cause that's what they like to see. The government, the courthouse, they love to see us be up in they in they court. They love this. They get a handful for this. So we got to do different. We got to do better. We got to be we got to do better. And like I said, I'm gonna keep on saying, I just really hope these guys can beat that case. And if they can, change y'all lifestyle, bro. Change it.
Trontavious Stevens seems very important for this case.
There's a problem. They have group chats. They have group chats that Jeffrey Williams is in,
That's bad too.
saying things like, "You
I
haven't
got
shot him
group
yet.
chats
You all are getting soft."
on Messenger
That's what I guess people would call receipts. The prosecutor has receipts in
or
this
Instagram,
case
whatever the
where
case
they
may
have
be.
put things in writing. Here's another thing about Stevens, his AKA Tick. He goes by Tick or Slug. There's a song. Jeffrey Williams has a song called "You," but it's EWE, I believe. And in that, it talks about Tick robbing a woman or women. And in the plea deal, the prosecutor.
Okay, so Young Thug had a song called "Tick," which is one of the one of the YSL crew leaders. I mean crew. One of the guys that's in YSL. The song was Young Thug was talking about the song, and the song was talking about one of the YSL guys robbing a woman. Come on, man. Wow.
Have acknowledged that he has been accused of and or charged of robbing women in the past. This is important because prosecutor wants to bring in song lyrics. The song lyrics that Young Thug has used, this is a big sticking point, and it's still an outstanding motion by the defense that has not been solved yet because they went to argue this motion last week, and as a side note, there was a COVID outbreak in the jail where all these guys are, and a bunch of them are COVID positive and or in quarantine.
This game, you're not ready for it.
Quarantine. So because of that, they couldn't have this hearing on the motion. Song lyrics. Can they use song? Is song lyrics real life? Or is it just artistry? But they are tying this specific one with Tick to the song lyrics about at least committing a crime of robbing women.
Yeah, even people in the hip-hop community have been very against using rap lyrics in criminal cases, but Fannie Willis, who is the district attorney for Fulton County, Georgia, says if you decide to admit your crimes over a beat, I'm going to use it. Let's
I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know, why write down in your lyrics? You know, I know music right now, lyrics explains, you know, your lifestyle. A lot of rappers they write down when they do music, they talk about their lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, growing up in the hood or whatever the case may be. But you gotta be careful because that can backfire. The police or the feds, they can use that. As they just did. They used this song to justify the situation of what's going on this case. So I keep saying, man, you gotta do better, bro.
I want to go to another important individual in this case who, and just to give everybody an idea, Martinez Little Duke Arnold, Woney Slime Life Shawty Lee, and then Walter Murphy. They've all pleaded guilty, as we've been talking about people taking these deals. But now let's talk about fellow YSL rapper Gunna, whose real name is Sergio Kitchens. Kathy, has an interesting role in this case too.
What are you doing? And you acknowledge the following statement. I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the game to the detriment of my community. YSL as a game must end. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
So he took an Alford plea. He's probably the most famous next to Williams as being known. He took an Alford plea, which means that he does not admit to being guilty, but he admits there's enough evidence that a jury could find him guilty. That's basically what an Alford.
Okay, so y'all comment below and let me know how y'all feel about Gunna taking that plea deal. How do y'all feel about that? Because like I said, I know it's been like a bunch of mixed reviews on that. You know, I know a bunch of rappers in Atlanta. Certain rappers stopped messing with Gunna after he done took this plea deal. So y'all comment below and let me know how y'all feel about that.
He is, and he's come out and said, I did not snitch, I will not snitch, and I will not testify. In his plea, he does have the right to invoke the Fifth, so I would say it's likely he's not going to testify. However, we have his statements made in court. They're recorded by WSB. I'm not sure he knew that was happening because there wasn't a traditional camera set up. It was sort of a last-minute hearing, and so the WSB reporter, I believe, did it with his cell phone, and you can find that on YouTube on WSB, but it has him admitting to certain things, and this is what he's admitting. He acknowledges that YSL is a gang. Number one, important. He acknowledges that some members of the gang have committed crimes. And in his statement, I quote, he says, I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL, the gang, to the detriment of my community. YSL is a gang and must end. That is a statement from Gunna that he signed off on. I think he didn't know that recording had happened when he made statements. I don't know, but I think it's pretty evident that I don't know how Jeffrey Williams can claim YSL is not a gang when now we have multiple members of YSL that are close to him saying it's a gang.
Real quick, Kathy, what's the value of him if he's not forced to testify? I mean, I think the case against him might have been weak. That's what I think.
Correct. He only had the one count, the RICO counts. That's the top count. The RICO count's the top count. All 28 are charged with that. There are some that are only charged with that and nothing else, and Gunna was one of them. And so it must have been a weak case against him.
Now, talking about people who take deals, we saw at least one person being offered what seemed like a really good deal and turned it down. I'm talking about Tanquarius Mender, a.k.a. Nard. What can you tell us about what deal was offered to him and this rejection?
And I'm sure that Ms. Fagan, she is a very fine attorney. Seen her work. But trials, there's one thing about trials, it's uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. So, you got to beat 4 counts. And if you don't beat them, what will happen is, under this ANC recidivist statute, I have to, under the law, sentence you to the maximum sentence. And then whatever I sentence you to, you serve to the door. That's not anything I have any discretion over. It's not anything because I don't like you or because of what you're being charged with, whatever. Those have nothing to do with anything. That's what the state of Georgia, the legislature has mandated that I sentence you to. So one of the things a plea does is you know what you're getting. It caps your exposure. So, and what the state's telling you today is if you take the plea today, this is what you're going to get, and this is what I probably sentence you to, and you're done. You got to decide that for yourself. You can't be worried about any of these other folks that are attached to this indictment.
The last day of pretrial hearings last week, the prosecutor stood up and said she has 3 more plea offers on the table. One was to Tanquarius Mender, a.k.a. Nard, a.k.a. Stunna. He is facing a maximum of 50 years. 50 years in prison. His offer was leave today. 16 years to serve 1 year, which be commuted. So he would have 15 years on probation and could walk out. He would not take the deal, and the judge sounded shocked.
Why do you think he turned it down?
I don't know. I mean, I think people are shocked that some of these guys have taken a plea. I don't know if the whole, snitches get stitches thing. Members of a gang don't turn on each other. They don't talk. I don't know if he's standing strong in that.
Yeah, because I think that's why the judge said to him, you can't do it because of other people who are in this indictment. You have to do what's right for you. And we know that Durante Bebby, I might be saying his name incorrectly, a.k.a. Bay, he faces a life sentence for his crimes. And there was talk about whether or not, he seemed to still to reject the deal that was offered to him too, although he's kind of on the fence about it, right?
So he rejected. Okay, let me just tell you that I'm not going to say we know 100% sure about Bebe or about Bender because, this is what we know. The prosecutor said she has 3 plea offers. She said they expire at the end of business today. She was very clear about that. The judge had all 3 of these guys go back and talk, and there was like a...
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up...
There's like a 2...
Y'all comment below and let me know how you felt about that one. What she said about those 2 other YSL guys not taking those plea deals. Y'all let me know.
Or delay or something in the hearing. At the end of the day, they came back on the record and only handled the 1 plea deal. So that's it. We never heard another word about Bebe or Bebby or Bender. So we have to assume they rejected it because it was off the table at end of business day, and they ended court around 6 p.m., and those 2 never came back with a plea. Now, Bebe was offered 20 years. He's facing 90 years. Faces life plus 90 years, okay? Forever. He was offered 20 years, but only served 6. If you're facing life plus 90, and you were offered 6 years and you turned it down, it's shocking to me. So I don't know if these guys just think this case is going to fall apart on everyone, or what is happening,
or their reputation, they don't want to...
Sometimes that's more important, I guess.
And talking about reputation, somebody did something kind of interesting.
Pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like, they made a name for themselves, you know what I'm saying, in these streets, so they don't want to mess up they rep, you know what I'm saying? I can't even say what would I do in that situation. I never been in that type of situation, so I don't know what I would do in that type of situation. I don't even know.
We were in the middle of, I believe it was Young Thug's attorney making an argument about evidence and whether or not, I don't even know how to make a joke about this. Something happened, Kathy. What happened?
Well, as we know, in the world of COVID and post-COVID, there's a lot of Zoom hearings going on. And it's true in this case, there's some people in person, but there's also a Zoom. And some of the attorneys and then attorneys' partners and whoever else are allowed to have this Zoom link and can be there via Zoom listening in on the hearings, and it's on a monitor and it's on a laptop on the lectern that is where the attorneys stand. And as he's talking, there's some pornographic stuff that starts going on the Zoom.
And it says free Young Thug, which, And
it's very graphic, and
yes.
You can see, we flirted. You can find it on our YouTube page. It's that you don't see a close-up or anything because it's like the screen that's in front of him and the camera's on the other side of the room. But as we know, there were a lot of Zoom hearings that were bombed like that during COVID. And so somehow that happened. And the only reason it got brought to our attention, because like I said, it wasn't that noticeable. It wasn't like the camera was right on the Zoom, except the judge said, that's it. We are creating a new Zoom link. Attorneys, listen to me. That is only to be given out to attorneys in this case. And so I was like, wait, what just happened? And we had to rewind and figure out what had just happened.
Oh, and we saw it. Now, just to give you an idea, this has all been happening even before the trial started. The trial is they say jurors are going to be on that for 6 to 9 months. They sent out 600 jury summons. They get paid $25 a day. It's going to be tough to see if they can even what kind of jury they'll ultimately get. But we will continue to follow this trial here on Law and Crime. And I know that if you want up-to-date updates about what is happening, you can go to Kathy Russin on her Twitter to follow the latest. Young Russ, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Jesse.
And that's all we have for you here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Please.
I mean, that was the Rico case on YSL. You guys let me know in the comments how y'all guys feel about this case. Do you feel like they gonna beat the case, or do you feel like the whole YSL, Young Thug and the whole YSL, they gonna go to jail, go to prison for a long, long time? I don't know. Like I said, I hope they can beat it, and I hope that they can change their lifestyle, man, and change the mindset too. Cause I hate to see my people keep doing the same BS. You know what I'm saying? The thing of it is, let's try to uplift each other as black people. That's what we need. We don't need no more of this. But like I said, I hope they can beat it, man. On the road to 400 subs, don't forget to hit that like, definitely share, and hit that subscribe button for your boy. This is J. Kyle. As I always like to say, peace.